Alright, you guys have been hounding me for it, so here it is. Quick and dirty tutorial on how to make your first working tank. If you need a mod pack, you can join the Discord server in the video description. There's a good mod pack there with everything you need. It's also the mod pack I'm currently using. So first we're actually going to start out by making our engine, and then we'll make everything else around it. So we're just going to go up a couple blocks so we have some room underneath. And then we're going to do a pump, 2 pipes, and then a modular diesel engine. You can stack a couple of these here, and you only have to fuel one. You don't need a pipe on all 3 of them. This is enough. It'll give it fuel to all 3 of the engines. So I'm going to put a chain drive and then a cogwheel to turn this pump and provide fuel for all the engines. Next, let's figure out our powertrain. So depending on how wide you want your tank to be, you can go out 1 or 2 blocks more if you want to make it bigger, of course. And so I'm just going to go up a couple blocks here. We're going to grab our clutch. If you happen to have crate connected like I do, you can use the inverted clutch. It's going to be a lot simpler, but we're just going to demonstrate without it. Do a clutch into a gear shift on both sides. This will allow us to control both of them independently. Now place 2 blocks of your choice here. I'm using steel armor from the steel armor blocks mod. Put 2 redstone torches. So this is going to keep our tank from moving until we want it to, by powering it with some redstone links here. And then also we want our tank to be able to turn and move backwards. So I'm going to throw 2 links on each of these gear shifts. And now to get this into our tracks, all we need is a gearbox, a shaft, and then the tracks themselves. And then you can go out as far as you want. We're going to do a pretty decently sized tank here. And now this is probably the stage where you want to outline what your tank is going to look like in terms of the hull. So I'm just going to go over in some steel armor and just basically form out the shape of the hull. So now what we need to do is figure out how to power the turret so it can actually spin. We're going to do a gear shift and a clutch, and then I'm just going to space it out with a shaft, a gearbox into the physics bearing, which is what will allow your turret to actually turn. And now we're going to do basically the same thing we did for the drivetrain. We're just going to have a redstone torch going to the turret, and then 2 links, because we only need to go side to side. We don't need the up and down controls in this one. And then another link to reverse it. Now this is for the turret side to side, so we're going to need to figure out how do we get power to the gun so we can go up and down. So we're just going to take some power from here with a shaft, go all the way here, gear shift, and then the clutch, and then do basically the same thing again. Redstone torch into the clutch so it stops it from spinning, 2 links, and then another one to reverse it. And now to actually get the power from here into the turret, because the turret is a different ship, it's going to be a little bit tricky. What I like to do is just have the energy transmitter from the Ender Transmitters mod. And this will allow you to basically send your energy from one block of these to another one, even across ships, which is really useful. So we're just going to be able to place this in the turret and have the power we need. So let's make the turret. We're just going to do a block on top of the physics bearing, and then our cannon mount. We need to leave a block space here for the link that's going to go there. We can just make our gun now. I'm just going to be doing a quick fire breach, nice and simple. And this turret is going to be quite tall, just because I'm lazy, and I don't feel like making a sunken turret here. And then we're just going to shape out the rest of the turret. So that's our turret done, and especially if you have a link sticking up or something else sticking up at the back like this, we just want to make sure that your turret is going to hit it. So for me, the axis of rotation is on this line, and only goes 2 blocks this way and 4 blocks this way, so it's not going to hit these links, so we're fine on these. But yeah, just be careful of that. It can be really annoying if you have stuff over here and the turret hits it, you can't spin all the way. So now we're pretty much finished. I'm just going to cover up the top of the hull with some more armor, and then we'll test it out. So to actually drive your tank, you'll probably need 2 controllers, one for driving the tank itself, and then one for turning the turret and the gun. So no these links. I'm just going to use some wool just for demonstration. And the idea is that we want any key pressed to disengage the clutch, so the tank actually moves. So no matter if we're pressing forward, left, right, or backwards, we want the tank to move, of course. However, when we're hitting backwards or turn right or left, then we want the tank to, of course, move in that direction. It's going to need to reverse the direction of one of the tracks so it will actually turn. So for the clutch, just make sure you have a frequency bound for every single key that you're going to be using for driving. Now for the gear shifts, we only want backwards to reverse it, of course, so which is orange for me. And then we also want the left and right to reverse one of the sides of the tank. So we're just going to do yellow for this one and green for this side. For reference, this is what my controller looks like. I just have it set up so the colors are going to be in order, so it's really easy to remember and set up. Now for the turret and gun, for the turret you only want the left and right keys to turn turret, of course. So we're going to do concrete for this one. We're going to do yellow and green concrete to activate the clutch and turn the turret. And then for moving the gun up and down, we're going to do red and orange. Also, don't forget to bind a firing key for the gun on your controller. I'm just going to be using light blue concrete in the spacebar bind. And then of course, also make sure that the frequency is present on the gun itself. So now our tank is actually assembled. The first thing we want to do is to actually start the engine so we can test everything out. So I'm just going to fill up this tank with some gasoline here. And then to start the engine, all we need to do is spin it a little bit so we can get some fuel into the engine and get it going. So now that the engine is actually started, we can test it out. So let's try driving. And while it is driving, the controls are completely messed up. When I press forward, it turns left. When I press backwards, it turns right. When I turn right, it goes forward. And so it's all messed up. So what is going on here? We can tell that when we press forward, the right track goes forward, but the left track actually moves backwards. So basically, the left side of the tank, this track, is actually reversed. So all we need to do is reverse it again so it turns in the right direction. All we need to do is rebind these links so that instead of reversing on backwards, it actually reverses when we try to go forward. And then instead of reversing on when we try to go right, it's actually going to reverse when we try to go left. So now after we replace those, you can see that it works absolutely beautifully. So now let's move on to the turret. First we need to assemble it. So what I'm going to do is place on some glass here as basically scaffolding for the super glue. So we're just going to glue from corner to corner. And then definitely don't forget bits like this that you have hanging off. These are really easy to forget, and then when you assemble it, it won't be assembled. It'll mess everything up. And then also glue the gun, of course. Now you can remove the glass and then go inside. And then just right click the physics bearing once. So let's try out the turret. And not only is it spinning the wrong direction, but it's also way too fast. We're not going to be able to hit anything with this. So what can we do? First of all, let's reverse the turret direction. And then in order to slow it down, we're going to grab the redstone resistor from Clockwork. And grab the analog lever from Create Mod. This will let us basically set the speed of the turret to whatever we want it to be. So you can see now that the turret is a much slower, much more manageable speed. Now for the gun, when you go to assemble it, it's probably not going to work. You're going to have to replace the entire cannon first. And I don't know why it does this, just something you have to deal with. Not that big of a deal. So now our cannon is assembled. Let's throw in that energy transmitter I was talking about earlier. And then it's going to let us actually turn the cannon. Now this is also too fast for my liking. So we're just going to add in another resistor here. And then make it go just a little bit slower. Another feature you should be aware of is the network on the energy transmitter. So this will allow you to set basically which channel you want the energy on. So both of the blocks have to be on the same channel in order for it to work. You can see they're just both on one here. If I set this to network 3, let's say, the gun is not going to move. But if we set this one also to channel 3, then you can see that the gun is going to start moving again. Now there's still a few things we need to add here, such as a way to get in. So we're just going to throw 2 trapdoors on here. And I say 2 because if you only have 1, if the tank is a little bit tilted, then it can be hard to make your way in, just due to the hitboxes. So 2 lets you in really nicely. And another thing is a seat. You're probably going to want 2, one for the gunner, one for the loader. You don't want to be gunning and loading at the same time. It's going to be a lot faster if you have someone to put shells in and someone else to fire the gun. Speaking of which, we need a way to see out of the tank. If you don't want to use F5 here, then you can just do something like this. We just have some stairs, there's just a little hole for you to see out of. Now, let's try to actually hit something. So we have a target there. We're just going to drive up so we're square with it. And then we're going to use the turret controller to turn the turret and actually face it. And if you want to do some more precision aiming, you'll probably want to get out of the seat and actually look at it. So I think that looks about good. So we're just going to open the breech, and then to use a quick fire breach here, we just have a shot of your choice. I'm doing armor piercing, and then a big cartridge. We're just going to load those in with right click, and then fire. And that is a bullseye, direct hit. So that was my quick and easy tutorial on how to make a working tank. If you want to improve it, make sure to check the video linked in the video description. I have another video on how to improve your tank and make it actually combat effective. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.